Freedom is obedience. Obedience is work. Work is life.
Hello and welcome to another bad movie review. Today we're talking Escape 2000, also known as Turkey Shoot, Slaughter Game, and Blood Camp Thatcher. Turkey Shoot's the most popular alternate name, and it's also the dumbest. Now, if you're looking for some good action sorry, there was a truck going by. I don't know what that was all about. If you're looking for some good action cheese, this is your movie. It's actually a pretty fun film. Yeah, it's low budget. Yeah, it's goofy, but let's get right into the plot and you'll see what I'm talking about. This is an Australian film, dystopian of course. It centers around a behavior modification camp in the nebulous near future, presumably in the year 2000. The film centers on 3 new inmates at Camp 47, where sadistic guards and ruling class overseers torment the so-called deviants. They're just people that don't fit in, that have silly ideas about freedom and civil rights and crap like that. The only hope of escape lies in surviving a special hunting party put together by the camp master. The prisoners are the prey, of course, because it'd be weird to do it the other way. Each one is assigned as the target of a specific hunter, which actually is a nice twist. The campmaster and his friends are, of course, sadistic, and they're sufficiently sinister, so they're going to be hunting these poor people down and killing them. Now, this is obviously a new rendition of The Most Dangerous Game. Since the movie's from 1982, it seems to have been a pretty popular theme in the 70s and 80s. But this one rings in at about 80 minutes, and it is rated R. Really didn't need to be, because there's only one real scene and some language that really kind of qualify for that. The sunshine yellow jumpsuits, though, I think were a bit unfair, since if you're going to be hunting people, they should at least not stand out like giant dandelions. But hey, what do I know? I'm not the camp master in the dystopian future. If I was, the hunting would be way more sporting. Anyway, now as far as acting goes, they actually have some pretty good actors in this. Recognizable people that you've probably seen somewhere before. Of course, I'm talking about the ever saucy Olivia Hussey. I had a crush on her since I saw her in Romeo and Juliet when I was in like 9th grade. And I was like, oh, she's hot. And I saw her boobs. But you, of course, recognize her from that 1968 Romeo and Juliet. Stephen King's It, where she played John Boy Walton's girlfriend, or wife, or whatever. Quest of the Delta Knights, Psycho 4, and, of course, Black Christmas, among her many, many movies. Multi-talented lady. I think she's a great actress, very underrated for her generation. And, of course, we have Steve Railsback, who was in Life Force, 1998's Disturbing Behavior, Barbed Wire with Pamela Anderson, and Armed and Dangerous with John Candy. Those are some classics, kids. And then we had Michael Craig, who played the Commodore in the 1986 Doctor Who episode, which I believe was the first appearance of Adric, near the end of Tom Baker's run there. And he was also in Modesty Blasé, which was a spoof on spy films, and the 1961 Mysterious Island. So pretty good credits for him, too. And then, of course, John Lay, who was in Mad Max from 1979 as Charlie. So I think that's probably his most recognizable role. And he was also in 1983's BMX Bandits, but they can't all be winners, right? Bill Young was in Hacksaw Ridge, the 2016 Mel Gibson movie, Superman Returns, The Matrix, and a 1991 episode of Inspector Morse. That's for you British kids out there. And of course we have Steve Rackman, who was, he played Alpha in this movie, which is the freak. I'll get to that in a second. He was in the Crocodile Dundee trilogy as Donk, and Howling 3. So pretty respectable credits on that one. Well, Howling 3 is, anyway. So Steve Rackman he plays Alf, who is this like sort of werewolf mutant freak kind of thing, which I don't really know what the point of his character was, but it was a nice weird addition. See, each one of the hunters is kind of quirky, and one guy has this pet monster who looks like a reject from Dr. Moreau. Another guy is a sort of a bureaucratic dandy, and then we have the sinister equestrian with a crossbow, which that was a little weird for me, honestly. The guy with the freak monster in the future, okay, I kind of get that, but the equestrian with the crossbow, I don't know. There was something sort of Batman villain about that. And then, of course, the camp master. So, all in all, this was actually a pretty fun film. It's a weird twist on The Most Dangerous Game. You have Olivia Hussey running around looking hot. There's a group shower scene with a bunch of prisoners where you see too much man-ass and not enough naked woman. But the naked women, it was the early 80s where trimming was an option. Let's put it that way. So grooming wasn't quite up to the standards that are very popular on the internet nowadays. So give it some credit. But all the boobs are natural. So other than that, there wasn't any nudity beyond that one sequence that I recall seeing. The most important thing here, well, I just talked about it, was the shower scene. But aside from that, they actually did a pretty good twist on The Most Dangerous Game. The pacing was really good too. So you actually had that kind of feel where like, all right, these are weird people out hunting other humans. But it kind of gave it a little bit of interesting feel to it, because a woman on a horse with a crossbow chasing prisoners down, all right, that would be kind of weird unless everybody's doing it. But then you have a dude driving this like sort of like a gator. I don't know what they called it, but it had a little dirt fork on the front. He's got his pet monster and they're hunting people down. He's got a 50 caliber strapped to the roof. Kind of cool. I don't know why. I found this movie to be crazy fun. And the death scenes were actually fairly tame compared to what they could have been, but I think that was more a budgetary reason. But yeah, so it was a nice twist on The Most Dangerous Game. It had sufficient cheese to make it a cheesy movie, but it had enough 80s and 70s flair that for a 1982 movie, it really wasn't too bad. Especially being an Australian movie, they tend to have fairly low budgets. And this one looked like, I think it said about $4 million was the budget. Sorry, I didn't write that down in my notes. But the assortment of hunters really added to it for me. The fight scenes were kind of silly when there was hand-to-hand combat. So it kind of made up for it with just being a strange, weird movie. Yeah, so I don't really have much to say beyond that. The werewolf guy freak thing was totally unnecessary and kind of stupid, but it seemed to fit with the weirdness of this movie. Like I said, what really kind of bugged me was the jumpsuits. I don't think that's very sporting to give somebody sunshine yellow jumpsuit when they're out running around. But anyway, this was a fun cheese film. I recognize I'm all over the place on this one, but I just got done watching it and it was just goofy fun. Highly recommend checking it out if you're in the mood for like one of those Most Dangerous Game hunting things kind of movies. Since it is like a prison camp island or something, it kind of has that interesting flair to it. Like there's a little bit of more of a requirement for them to get out. There's actually a little bit more motivation that they think they can get out and escape. And of course there's a twist on that. And yeah, I thought it worked really well. It's definitely better than the Hunger Games movies. So if you're thinking, oh, I should watch the Hunger Games, no, watch a bit better movie. Forget Jennifer Lawrence. No, Olivia Hussey wins every time. Sorry. Just go ahead and watch this one instead. Save yourself the heartache of watching a really bad knockoff of Battle Royale. Yeah, you heard me. I called you out on that, lady. So, yeah, this one is available on VHS, DVD, and, of course, online streaming. It was probably on Laserdisc, too, but I couldn't find any evidence of that. I know Amazon has it for about $9 to buy it, and I think $3 rental as of this recording in 2016. but I've seen it. I've got a copy on DVD and VHS. I think this is a great movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. It hits all the right markers for cheese. You got a little bit of romance for no good reason. You got people getting gunned down, people hunting each other, turning the tables, that sort of thing. It really hits all the markers for just a fun, goofy popcorn action film. It doesn't need to make any sense. It's just crazy fun. So if you get a chance, check it out. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend this one. And if you can find it cheap, even better. Best bet's probably to stream it, honestly, because it's kind of hard to find on VHS. And the DVD tends to be fairly expensive because it hasn't been re-released in a while. But if you can find it cheap, pick it up and check it out. I thought it was a good time. And you can't really miss. Olivia Hussey's a pretty good actress. And she's usually pretty reliable. I don't think I've ever seen one of her movies that I didn't like. Steve Railsback's pretty good too. And the rest of the cast is pretty solid. Yeah, it is a B movie, but it's a fun one. So if you get a chance, check it out, and we'll see you next time on Bad Movie Review. Thanks for listening.
Now, Alf, let's make the game more interesting. Show me his foot.